What is up everyone, my name's Al from Games Room, and today we're checking out the classic Wolfchild. If you love a platformer, a kind of dark adult platformer with a bit of a twist, you're probably going to like this. Let's take a look. Now during the quick cutscenes here, I'm just going to go quickly and deep dive into the actual synopsis of Wolfchild, because it really is, it's an interesting idea. So your father, Kai Morrow, is the world's foremost authority on biogenetic science. Unfortunately though, while you were away, he was kidnapped by the group Chimera, led by Karl Drax. Now you can't deny, Drax is a really decent 80s bad guy name. Drax is out to take over the world using mutated soldiers and come after your father to find his research and further that goal. Yet despite Drax's effort, he failed to locate where Kai had hidden away his most valued project, Project Wolfchild. Now obviously, you are Project Wolfchild. I needn't say any more. Or are you? Maybe I do need to say more. That's right, you are not actually Wolfchild. That's right. Yeah, see, I threw you all guys onto a tangent. I was like, I tell you what, you guys, I'm Wolfchild. Well, you're actually not, but you are using the Wolfchild power, that's right, to find actual Project Wolfchild. What I will say is the cutscenes here look absolutely fantastic. Now this is where the Sega CD version really shines, and you cannot deny it does look absolutely fantastic. Cutscenes on Sega CD, when done well, always look really, really good. Colourful, nice solid frame rate, and a nice soundtrack to kind of back it up, or sound effects to back it up I should say. Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's get on and take a look at Wolfchild. So this is it guys, this is Wolfchild for the Mega CD or Sega CD, depending what region you are from. Now this actually kind of started as an Amiga title, that's right, and this got ported over to the Mega CD by Core Design. Now, you know Core Design for doing games like, what have they done? They've done so many in the past. One of them, obviously, being the original Tomb Raider series. That's right, they handled that. But now we're looking at the port of Wolfchild. Now, obviously, this did come out on the Genesis itself and also Super Nintendo. But is this the superior version on the Mega CD? Now, obviously, straight off the bat, you're going to look at it graphically and say, well, it doesn't actually look any different. Now, you're probably right. It doesn't look massively different in the way it actually looks. In fact, for me, I think it's actually the audio that really gets this game going, or maybe, you know, it basically really shows off the reasons why you get the Sega CD version over this Sega Genesis version. Now, obviously, CD audio is always going to be better, really, let's face it, in quality. But, you know, does it actually add anything different to the game? I'd say not really. Don't get me wrong though, if you listen right now, you can see exactly what I mean about why you'd want to get it on the Sega CD. But no, as you can probably tell, it's not really affecting the game all that much. To be fair, Super Nintendo, the Genesis version, they do a really decent job with the soundtrack. I really don't think the Sega CD version is the reason or the music in the Sega CD version, is the reason to go out and find this. Like I said, it's cheaper to get it on the Genesis or the Super Nintendo anyway, so this obviously is not a reason to go and grab it on the Sega CD. Now, with every sort of platformer in this sort of decade or era of gaming, the sort of 16-bit era, the controls, they're very, very basic. You got your up, down, left, right, jump, special power, and essentially punch or shoot, depending who you are in that time frame. Which, yeah, these are basic controls, but that's really all you need in a 16-bit platform. And you can't deny they're very, very responsive, and that's exactly what you need in a platformer. You want responsive controls, because if you don't have that, and you've got any sort of delay, it just isn't gonna work. The other thing you might have just noticed as I've been babbling on is the transition from level to level actually is pretty nice. There's no sort of just a doorway all the time, but you fall from the sky or you go through somewhere else, and it just transitions into the next stage. Yeah, there's a bit of loading in between, but you can't deny a really nice, elegant way of transitioning from landscape to landscape. And as you can see, the colour depth here really is quite nice. Yeah, there's a lot of greys in this game, sort of greys, silvers, blacks, but you know, I've got to say, it's an interesting style and kind of gives it that look that we want. The one where you are basically a werewolf. Let's face it, you're basically a werewolf. A guy who could change into a wolf. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? Well, yeah, okay, you kind of got that with this, and you kind of got the purple skies, etc. But you can't deny it does add to it. It really, really does. Now, there's no real huge difference between when you're playing the human character and the Wolfchild. It's a really, it's an odd one. You kind of think you'd have a massive difference when doing it, but unfortunately, there really isn't. Albeit, yeah, okay, as the wolf, you do have a kind of firing ability, where when you're playing as a normal human, all you really have is punch, but you do also have your special power, which if you press A, does punch the ground, and essentially does destroy a lot of the enemies around you. Unfortunately, you know, this kind of weapon spray doesn't really do all that much. The problem is, when you're going against bosses, for example, the boss battles, it just doesn't feel like your weapons are all that powerful, or really feel like they're doing all that much, which is a shame, because let's face it, when you're using your special, you kind of hope it's going to make you win that boss battle, whereas if you're throwing a few punches or kind of hitting the ground, it just doesn't feel all that effective. Now, what I will say is you do get a kind of nice amount of different varied map types. Yeah, they're all very much under the theme of pretty damn weird, including loads of different bugs, loads of different mutant creatures, which is really, really cool. And I kind of like the fact that you don't just have black behind the main kind of scenery that you're traversing, if that makes sense. So as you can see right now, you've kind of got the brown sort of tubes, etc. in the background, and at the forefront where you are, you've got a nice, colourful, even some of it, animated design, which I think looks absolutely fantastic, and you know, fair play to them for making that happen. Now, talking about levels, yeah, you got levels like the forest level, you got underground bases, flying saucers, well, not flying saucers, flying ships. Yeah, you know, there's a very, very sort of varied range here, which is cool, and it does kind of get you going a little bit more. It doesn't get too stale, which, let's face it, with some platformers, if they just are too long and the sort of scenery doesn't change, it does get boring. Whereas this, the scenery's changing, it's animated, it's cool, and it does keep you on the toes, because at the end of the day, quite often, you get bugs come out of the floor that you don't expect, you get spikes flying at you from all directions. It really does keep you going, and kind of, it keeps you on edge, which is cool with a game like this. Now, what I will say with Wolfchild, it's a strange one, because it does almost feel like the game is so close to being really, really awesome. I don't know if it was my nostalgia that made me want to review this, or just the fact I just wanted to revisit and see why, as a child, I had such fond memories of it. Don't get me wrong, I played it on the Amiga back in the day, and to be fair, I've got to say, this is a really, really decent port of that version. It does look absolutely fantastic, you cannot deny. But does it almost feel like, yeah, that's right, I'm going to say it, Wolfchild on the Sega CD, or Wolfchild as a game, almost feels like it's just a bit generic. It doesn't feel like the game or the story is really driven by the actions you're taking within the game, if that actually makes any sense. What I will say though is the one thing that really does kind of save this is the fact that it's hard, but it's not too hard. So I'm playing it, or I did play it, as easy with the maximum amount of lives that I could have, which also gave, I think it was something like 6 or 7 lives, and then you also had 2 continues. So you had 12, or might have been even something like 18 lives that you have at your disposal. And yeah, you will need them, because this game there's a bit of memorization involved, and because you will get lost at times, although you will eventually find the way. It's not that bad. It's not Metroid levels of bad. You're not going back, back, forward. It's not that kind of game. But, for all its awesomeness, like the animation of when you turn into the wolf itself, etc., yeah, this can't be saved from being that generic platformer, this action platformer that I think it wanted to be. It wanted to be something special, and yeah, it is a pretty decent game, don't get me wrong, but it does just feel like another platformer, although with a slightly different feel to it, awesome music, and why am I saying this? This game is awesome. You cannot deny this does absolutely look fantastic. It feels fantastic. It's got a decent amount of difficulty, a nice range of levels. This game really is fantastic. Yeah, that's right, I was leading you guys down the path saying, oh, that's generic. It's not generic, it's cool, it's different, and that's what I like about Wolfchild on the Sega CD, aka also Mega CD, depending what region you are from. I'm Al from GamesRip, hope you've liked this nice little look at Wolfchild for the Mega CD. Like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you all soon. You can now support the channel on patreon.com/GamesRip, as well as remember to like, comment and subscribe.